I mean, what do we do with the pinky in daily life? Can you think of anything? I can't. And then look how short it is in comparison. So that finger definitely needs some extra attention. There are a good few tips and exercises to gain control over your little finger. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to make your guitar playing 1/4 better. I came across that in a guitar forum where someone asked if he's the only one with that little finger issue. And along with that, he posted a photo of him holding an actually very complicated guitar fingering, which looked something like that. The issue here is not the little finger, it's the position that's not right. And my point here is not that there is that one right position, because then every guitarist would play in that position, right? So that doesn't make sense. That can't be that one right position. But if you think like it's that one part of my body that is not right, my little finger is too weak or something like that, it is almost never the case. You have to see it a bit more holistically. What I want you to do, if you feel like, oh yeah, my little finger is not right, it's too weak, or I can't reach this and that because of this and that, then grab your guitar with the right hand, because that is not set in stone. You can move it around however you like. And then you try different positions, like extreme positions, positions that you've never seen someone play in. See what it's like if you have the guitar right up like that, so like a classical player a bit, like have the wrist straight. What does that feel when I apply my usual things in that position? What does it feel like if you have the guitar like that, that you see the back of the neck instead of always wanting to see what your fingers do here? What does it feel like if you stand up and have a strap on the guitar? What does it feel like if you change that angle here? And then what you do is you find a good middle ground here, something where everything is kind of like comfortable enough. For me, that is always like having one leg over the other that brings the guitar up. I have my arm like straight down and I just bring my forearm up. That is where my guitar needs to be. And the second issue I've seen was his thumb. So for that fingering here, he had his thumb like to the left of the index finger, which is like so hard to do. Try that yourself. Instead, I would have it like opposite middle and ring finger here for that fingering. This is where I have my thumb. My point here is not just telling you about that bad guitar position or hand position of that person. I just want you to realize the moment that you feel like, oh, I can't seem to play what so many others before me played on the guitar. How is that possible? It's not for me. Something like that. Then you just have to find a way to make it work. And that often comes down to positioning the guitar and to hand position and thumb position. If I had to choose the most important finger for guitarists, it would be the thumb all the time. Because look, you have 4 fingers on that side, but you have only 1 finger on that side. So keep a close eye on your thumb. Now back to the pinky. I want you to feel how much power is actually in your little finger and how to apply that to the guitar. So do the following. You have your pinky straight and you push against it with your index finger. Feels pretty weak, right? But there's hardly any power in it. And then if you have it bent all the way through, again, that feels pretty weak. So you can push it away easily. But if you have it halfway bent here, in that C shape, there's a lot of power in that little finger. And you don't need that much for guitar playing anyway. So if we apply that to the guitar, then all the fingers need to be in that kind of C shape, right? To be the most effective. So if you feel like your little finger is often kind of like flat, then try to have it a bit more round to be more effective. And also if you have like a chord shape with multiple fingers involved, like let's say that G shape here, for example, then try to optimize for the little finger. So try to put that in place in a good position first, so where it feels stable, where it feels like it has a lot of power, and then try to build everything around it and try to keep that good position. So here's an exercise you can do before we move on to more common mistakes. Now you might already know that lift and tap exercise. So put all fingers in place, G string, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th fret. And then be very close to the fret, whereas each finger 1 fret. Leave them all in place except for the little finger. You lift that, you put it back. The very same spot where you would place it if you wanted to play that note. It's not that much about strength, it's more about control. Be aware of that finger. Don't apply too much pressure here. I want you more to be relaxed with that exercise. And you can extend that. You can tap on the string that is underneath that with the one that is above. Another common thing that I see often with my students is they have their little finger under the neck or even behind the neck. If you think about that, you will never need it there. The only thing that it does is you have a very long way back to the fretboard. And the second thing, I want you to feel that if you have your hand relaxed like that, and then you bend your little finger like that, it feels quite tense, right? There's a lot of extra tension that you definitely don't need when you play guitar. Another thing that I see is that the little finger does its own thing. So you want to change chords and then it goes wild like that. I can hardly replicate that, but what you can do is when you practice your chord changes, have your hand here as a barrier so that you stop your little finger from doing that, or place yourself in front of a wall and have that wall as a barrier. But there's another exercise that you can do. Check this out. So this exercise is very practical, so you can actually make music with it. So you place your D major shape here, and then you add the little finger on the 3rd fret, high E string, make it a D sus4. You go back and forth between the two. You can do that with your favorite strumming pattern here. And that works also with your E major. Then you place your little finger 2nd fret, high E string, that back and forth. Or A major, that fingering. Then you lift your little finger, you go back and forth. Or C major. Then you put your little finger 3rd fret, B string, and that back and forth. A lot of those pinky issues come down to control and position rather than strength. And the cool thing with control is you can do that while commuting. So place your fingers on your arm, for example, or on your leg, and then you can try to control your little finger as good as you can, and lift it and tap, and try to see what it's like with your other fingers too, and try to make it as comfortable with your little finger as you are with your pointer, for example, which we train a lot because we do a lot of things with it, right? Now, if you say your teaching is cool, Florian, I like that, but I need help, then check out highguitar.com where you can get one-on-one lessons. I understand how frustrating it is to be enthusiastic about guitar playing, but not know where to start, what to do next, which video to watch. And that's why every month I help dozens of people just like you to learn guitar quickly, and I'd love to do the same for you. It seems like you're closely investigating what your fingers do on the fretboard. You will profit from this finger exercise here. Watch this next.